say you wanna watch a drama. You say you wanna watch a comedy. Well, you can watch it with your mama, or you can watch it with your daddy.
You'll even sit and watch it with your middle schooler, so you can come and talk around a water cooler. We're watching all day and all night.
Couch potatoes unite.
Whoa, whoa.
Couch potatoes unite.
Whoa, whoa. Couch potatoes unite.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the podcast entitled Couch Potatoes Unite! Exclamation point, which is based on a blog of the same name because it's like an apocalyptic crossover of our own. Possibly? Yes, I'm asking a question. I am the blogger in question and the self-styled Chief Couch Potato. My name is Kylie and I love TV. If you feel the same, keep listening and or checking out our website, couchpotatoesunite.wordpress.com, as you're bound to find some common ground or something you like. For at Couch Potatoes Unite, we're all about the wonders and the unique long-form storytelling of the small screen. CPU, exclamation point, is kicking it summer style and hopes you've been following releases of brand new episodes of the podcast on Wednesdays, as well as new blog entries on some Tuesdays, and as always, we have several more new episodes on the way. Because the panelists and I live lives behind our podcast, the episodes are published once per week. Subscribe to the blog or the podcast via iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and via Google Play to stay on top of brand new episodes. Episodes already published discuss a variety of shows around the water cooler, including, but not limited to, iZombie, The X-Files, Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., New Girl, The Originals, The Crown, Once Upon a Time, Orange is the New Black, 13 Reasons Why, a series of unfortunate events, Fuller House, and Westworld. Plus, new episodes are in the works, including revisits for Grace and Frankie, Doctor Who, The Good Place, Gotham, Schitt's Creek, Arrested Development, Game of Thrones, Supernatural, Will and Grace, Stranger Things. The Marvel's Defenders panel will talk Season 2 of The Punisher. The DCTU will revisit all 4 shows in the CW's Arrowverse. And the Star Trek 50 Plus series will talk Season 3 of the original series. We'll be launching new panels covering Jane the Virgin, The Americans, Riverdale, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, Altered Carbon, Mr. Robot, and Charmed. And because we look back at shows not past, we'll take a smallish look back at a short-term show from some kind of yesteryear, namely Freaks and Geeks. We'll reminisce about the majesty of rain, and we'll revisit one of the all-time and most-watched classic sitcoms, MASH, which was surprisingly popularly requested. By the way, did you know that CPU also from time to time goes live? We've been live from bunkers and comedy shows and Comic-Cons, and we just went live from Blue Bridge Games to take a shiny look back at Firefly. Plus, we're planning more live appearances and other cool stuff. So make sure you like or follow us at our Facebook page, our Twitter at CPU Podcast, our Instagram at Couch Potatoes Unite, or subscribe to the blog, our YouTube channel, our iTunes channel, our Stitcher Radio channel, or find us on Google Play. In the meantime, if you don't hear a show in this podcast format, fellow panelists and I still write reviews, and we always seek new panelists. So if you have any interest in joining the discussion, say hello by finding us at any of those outlets I've mentioned. At the very least, stop by and leave us a thumbs up, comment, or review. We like feedback, but not the Antichrist kind of feedback. No need to destroy the world over this podcast, like we're that important. Today, we're around the water cooler as a continuation of one of CPU's ongoing podcast series. This series does not have a fixed number of episodes like other series we do. Rather, it is ongoing, as the show is still on the air. However, we've covered it over multiple episodes, as it is an anthology series, and actually the first of its kind in recent years. Welcome, then, to the 8th episode of our American Horror Story series. In this series, we've already discussed Season 1, called Murder House, 2, Asylum, 3, Coven, 4, Freak Show, 5, Hotel, 6, Roanoke, and 7, Cult. Today, we move to the 8th season, officially subtitled Apocalypse. Each season is conceived as a self-contained miniseries following a different set of characters and settings and a storyline with its own beginning, middle, and end. Some plot elements of each season are loosely inspired by true events. The 8th season, Apocalypse, features the return of the witches from Coven as they battle the Antichrist from Murder House and attempt to prevent the apocalypse. Set in a nondescript near future, the Antichrist, namely the grown-up infant conceived by Tate Langdon and Vivian Harmon from the Murder House season, called Michael Langdon, played by Cody Fern, brings about the apocalypse by instigating nuclear warfare. Wealthy heiress Coco St. Pierre Vanderbilt, played by Leslie Grossman, is flown to a remote bunker to escape the devastation. Traveling with her are her personal assistant Mallory, played by Billy Lord, hairstylist Mr. Gallant, played by Evan Peters, and Gallant's grandmother Evie, played by Joan Collins. At the bunker, known as Outpost 3, the group encounters several other survivors. These include talk show host Dinah Stevens, played by Adina Porter, and young adults Timothy Campbell, played by Kyle Allen, and Emily, played by Ash Santos, both of whom were selected to survive at the bunker due to their special DNA. Outpost 3 is run with an iron fist by Wilhelmina Venable, played by Sarah Paulson, Miriam Mead, played by Kathy Bates, and their lackey, the Fist, played by Amazon Eve. Flashbacks to 3 years before the apocalypse reveal that Outpost 3 was an all-boys warlock school led by John Henry Moore, played by Cheyenne Jackson, that unknowingly harbored the Antichrist. Upon his enrollment, the Warlocks quickly realize his power and begin to suspect that he will become the first ever male supreme. The Witches' Council from Coven, consisting of Cordelia Good, also played by Paulson, Zoe Benson, played by Thaisa Farmiga, and resurrected Myrtle Snow, played by Frances Conroy, are summoned to administer the test of the 7 wonders until, with help from a few other familiar faces, they suss out his true identity and his plans for world domination and destruction. As we sit around the water cooler for our American Horror Story series of podcast episodes, we also continue another not-so-new development to the CPU structure. As you may already know or remember from listening to previous episodes in the series, from time to time, some familiar voices have taken the moderating reins to give yours truly, that's me, a break or a chance to be an ordinary panelist where appropriate. As such, for this series we decided to rotate moderators, and for today's episode, Nick returns to the moderating microphone, who last moderated the hotel episode. Encountering this latest apocalypse are our returning AHS panelists, Sarah, Emily, and Kylie, along with a brand new panelist that is new to the panel, but not to the podcast, and me as panelist, of course, as well. With that said, and as always, it should be noted that all of our panelists have viewed all of American Horror Story to date, and may discuss sensitive plot points from this or any of the seasons. So for those of you who have not watched any American Horror Story, listen at your own risk, as there may be major spoilers, and without further ado, I'd like to welcome back Nick to the moderating microphone. Take it away, Nick.
Thanks, Kylie.
You're welcome.
And congratulations, panel. You have been selected by the Cooperative. And now you are tasked with discussing Season 8 of American Horror Story. Is everyone prepared?
No. Not the way you asked it.
All right. We'll start more traditionally by going around the water cooler. You'll introduce yourself and then pick a character description that best describes how much you either enjoyed or did not enjoy the season. So here we go. Are you thrilled to be returning to this show in any capacity, but especially so because it gets you out of your own personal hell, such as Misty Madison, Queenie, Nan, and the rest of the witches from American Horror Story 3, Coven? Do you keep watching because you think it makes a statement about male-female political dynamics, such as Pennypacker, Moore, Chablis,
Yeah, that's right.
and the male warlock? Are you new to this whole American Horror Story universe? Kind of like it, but have a vague, confused feeling like you might be under some sort of memory spell, such as Coco and Mallory? Are you here for the long haul? Mostly because you are tied to this series by some sort of invisible force, such as the Langdons, the Harmons, and the rest of the ghosts of the murder house? Were you forced to watch this season of American Horror Story because of some sort of special genetics but feel confused by it and generally fear it, such as Timothy and Emily? Are you watching this season so you can rise to the ultimate top of the power pyramid by acting as an evil henchperson such as Mead or Venable? Did you watch this season and feel secretly empowered to become the head of your own evil cult because you are the Antichrist, such as Michael? Who would like to go first?
That was very ominous. Thanks, Nick.
Yeah.
I don't
welcome.
go first.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Thanks, Callie.
You're welcome. I'm Callie.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi. I am a mix between 1 and 4.
So you're either the Coven or the murder house.
Like, yeah.
Why?
That's just what I'm feeling right now.
Okay. Who would like to go next?
Welcome back.
I'll go next.
Oh, hey.
Okay, Eddie's going next.
Eddie, before you answer your character, you should remind us who you are, how you came to start watching American Horror
Do
Story.
we need to know all that?
Yes, because he's new, Nick.
Okay.
What made you start watching, what kept you watching, and all that business, and then tell us your characters.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I started watching American Horror Story because my friends were watching it and they were talking about it at work, and I thought they were crazy about the show, so I just started watching it. and it's a show that sucks you in. And then I fell in love with Sarah Paulson. I actually started out of order. I actually started with season 3 because that's what people were talking about. And then I went back and started with season 1, and I've watched every season since. With that statement, season 3 is my favorite season. So going to character, I forgot to introduce myself, but I'm so loud, everybody knows Eddie. So hey, I would have to say that I'm definitely, I watched this season because it gets me out of my own personal life, and it's an escape, and I don't feel it as bad. So I'm going to say I'm number 1. I'm like the American Horror Story season 3 coven.
And we can't guess why with what you just said. Welcome back, Eddie.
Welcome to the panel, Eddie.
Yeah, welcome to the panel,
Thank
Eddie.
you.
Well, welcome back to the podcast, because Eddie has appeared on other panels, including our Once Upon a Time panel. That's why I'm helping you. Okay.
Thanks, Kylie.
You're welcome.
Who's next?
I can go next.
Okay.
I can do it. So hi, it's Emily.
Hi, Emily.
Wait, are you the Emily from the show?
Ooh, maybe, you'll never know.
Ooh.
That's true. We can't see her, listeners.
I would say, much like Callie, I am definitely a combination.
My eyes are rolling so hard right now.
She's against combinations.
Especially when
I
they're
know.
like groups of people. You just pick like 60 people that you are.
I know. But I feel a personal connection to both. I am very thrilled to be returning because there have been just only like a couple seasons that I didn't like of American Horror Story, and I really enjoyed this one, so I'm definitely thrilled to be returning to the show. But I'm also feel like I'm tied to the series, like I've made it this far. Like I feel like I can't just jump the shark now.
That's what I'm feeling.
See, there you go.
See? Sorry, Sarah.
Yeah. Can I like specifically? Do you want me to like pick specifically amongst the groups who
No,
I am?
I don't care. What do I care? I don't care.
So that's where I am.
Well, welcome back, Emily, and you helped Callie out, so that
I
was
did.
good.
There you go.
There you go.
Clarification.
Nice. I'm Sarah, and I'm not nice.
Hi, Sarah. You're not nice.
I am the Murder House gang. I feel that I am here for the long haul, but I don't know why, because I hate being scared, and I generally panic pretty hardcore about 3 or 4 times a season. Is that a safe bet, Nick? I'm looking at Nick because
Yeah.
we're married.
Like good dynamics. Yeah.
I almost stopped watching this during episode 1, and I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. But then I was like, this is the best. So I think that's appropriate. I am tied to this. Maybe I'm dead and I'm trapped in this house. I don't know.
I don't think you're dead, but
Crazy. Maybe I'm asylum.
Yeah.
that's like your least
Asylum's
favorite.
not one of the choices.
I know. I helped with these.
This was a cooperative effort.
Oh no, the secret's out. Welcome back, Sarah.
Thanks. It's great to be here, and I'm really excited.
You don't want to pick any other descriptions?
No, I only picked one. That's my jam.
She picked Murder House officially.
All
Wait,
right.
did you feel there was a different one that fit me more?
No, I feel like you're stuck.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go next.
Yeah.
Because you're moderating.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm Kylie.
Hi,
not,
Kylie.
not the moderator. Wow. And let's see. I would.
Don't pick 2. Sarah will get mad.
Kylie's not afraid.
Yeah, I'm not afraid. But I think that I would kind of be more Murder House than anything else, with a dash of Coven. I'm not quite as stuck or as frightened as Sarah. On the same token, I have been in it for the long haul. I liked this season a lot, but it's not my favorite. I would rather watch the original 2 seasons, Murder House and Coven, than Apocalypse, but we'll talk about that.
We will talk about that.
We will.
Welcome, Kylie.
Thank you, Nick.
I shall go next and last. I've already said I'm Nick multiple times.
Hi, Nick, multiple times.
I think I'm the season 3 Coven. I enjoyed this season. I enjoyed this show. I love horror movie type stuff, and this is a pretty good representation of that genre, even in this season. I don't need to justify that anymore, do I?
You're moderating.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm done.
You're very tan. Nick is very tan.
I work outdoors.
And the listener
Wow.
knows more about you.
I have to say I agree with Sarah. I can't watch the intros because they freak me out every season.
Oh, the intro.
So I agree with Sarah.
They're
The intros always freak me out.
Is it the chainsaw noise for you? Because I don't like that.
It's just the creepy like music, and I'm just like, it's not as scary as they're making it sound.
Yeah.
That's true. The music is very ominously tone-setting.
Yeah.
Yes. Before we dive into the episode, since we started talking about the opening, I think one of the fun facts was they incorporated images from the Murder House and Coven seasons.
True.
Did anyone notice that, or just
Yeah.
read that and then realize it?
No, I saw it.
noticed.
Yeah.
I read it and
yeah.
then realized it because I try not to look directly at the TV because I don't like it. So
All right.
I'm not wrong.
No, you're not wrong. For those of you who listen to me moderating Lemony Snicket, you might think I just force this every time, but I think for this season it makes sense to take it episode by episode. Helps the timeline. We can easily jump around as well, but why don't we start with the actual apocalypse with episode 1? Well, no, before we get there, we kind of went over some of why Eddie started watching his favorite one, but since Eddie, Emily, and Kylie weren't here for our Coven and Murder House discussion, do you want to let us know how you felt about those seasons overall? Is there any...
Sure.
Or have you revised yours? Because we did talk a little bit
We
about
did,
it. But
because
Yeah.
we at the end we pick our favorites in
Yeah.
order, so we did talk about that.
do you want to remind the listener?
And me. And Eddie doesn't know.
Yeah, Eddie didn't know.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
get it, Eddie.
Like, did you like those 2 seasons, or were you like, meh?
I remember not watching all of Coven when it first happened. I never. But I will say this though. Since watching this season, Apocalypse, I plan on going back and watching Coven because I want to get caught back up. Because I feel like I'm missing some things. But my list of other things to watch is so long right now, it's a little lower on the list. But I do plan to go back to it eventually. I love Murder House. I think Murder House is brilliant, and that's why I continue to watch the show, because I know they have really great potential. Potential, #drink.
That's
Thanks
the Once
from-
Upon a Time podcast,
Yeah.
but she's doing that for you, Eddie.
I was gonna say, I feel so loved and welcomed.
It had its own hashtag. It's a whole
It
thing.
did. Yeah. I think that Murder House was great, and that's kind of what's kept me watching all the other seasons, because it had such a great setup for the whole show that it's kept me watching. So that's where I'm at with Murder House and Coven.
And Murder House is my favorite still, so that explains that. And then Coven, I did not really like the first time I watched it, and then I went back and rewatched it and liked it much better. So I like them both, but Murder House is my favorite still.
Thanks. Eddie, how did you feel about those seasons? We already know Coven. Tell us about Murder House.
Right. I liked Murder House, but I only liked Murder House because of Jessica Lange. Her character was by far... I think how Jessica Lange's been through the season she's been in is the reason why so many people continue watching. Because she's always such a dynamic character. So Murder House wasn't my favorite, but it has become one of my favorites because of the season. Because we know even more of what has happened in that house. So I'm not going to say that I enjoyed it, but I wouldn't mind going back and watching it again, knowing what I know now.
I do think this... it sounds like people want to go back and rewatch. I already did because I really like this show. But Apocalypse really makes me want to see all the pieces coming together again. And see how well it was plotted out and how well things are just kind of fitting together as they tell the story.
Like do them all in like Murder House, Coven, and then Apocalypse again.
I don't want to watch the whole series,
Oh,
but
okay.
because I personally liked Asylum a lot as well. And I know that wasn't a lot of people's favorites.
I've only rewatched Murder House. I haven't rewatched Coven, but I am kind of interested now to... I would do it the way Kylie just said it, though. Not
Yeah.
all the seasons, but the Murder House, Coven, Apocalypse. Yeah.
Sarah, did you want to talk about Murder House or Coven before we jump into the Apocalypse?
Coven's my favorite. I moderated it. Murder House, I really struggle to rank these, and we'll talk about that at the end, and I don't know why, because
I do
I'm
too.
usually very decisive. But I like Murder House. Murder House, I just don't understand why they don't leave. So that's where my personal struggle is. I had that same problem with what was the season with the Scathatch and the...
Growing up.
Yeah, I'm like, why don't they just leave? What's the big deal? But anyway, that's just me. So yeah, Coven, woo!
You don't watch enough horror movies that bothers you. They never just leave. They just
Yeah,
get
like,
over.
I know,
When
I
the
know.
movie
Story,
ends.
Sarah. If they leave their stuff story, then it's over.
If
Done.
they would rather be dead and in a story, that's good. I'd rather be alive and not part of that story.
Yeah.
I'm
I don't
just
think that's an
conservative.
option.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
All feelings are valid.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
by the way, dynamics. Callie is my sister-in-law. Sarah already mentioned she's married to you, Nick, the moderator.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just felt we should say that
You
now.
should
before
have.
we
I don't
go.
know why you didn't.
Because I remember now.
Okay, now we can start with the end. What was everyone's initial reactions to the actual apocalypse?
That's the name of the episode, The End.
Oh.
I saw
I
confusion.
Oh, I thought
I
we
don't
were
know
starting
the
with the
episode.
end. I'm like, I'm so confused.
I know.
That's how I felt about that episode. I was very confused.
I was.
Oh no,
that's-
that's
I feel-
legit. I totally agree.
I feel
I was
like
really
that's-
confused.
That's true
Yeah.
American Horror Story fashion, though. I feel
Yeah.
like the first couple of
Right.
episodes, I'm confused.
Yeah. Oh.
I have to say every season though, I always like to give it the 4. Like I gotta get 4 episodes in before I can say, oh, okay, this is gonna be a good season, or all right, this is gonna be another let's just ride the roller coaster season.
Yeah.
And I felt like this one was very die hard to that. With that, it was the 4 episodes, and after the 4th episode, I went, okay, let's go. This is gonna be good.
This in the middle of this episode, this is where I said to Nick, I think we have to turn this off. I don't think I can watch this. Like, it really panicked me a lot.
I was panicked by the nuclear setup.
Yeah.
It was very tense. Not in the same creepy kind of way that Cult started. That was more of a realistic fear, whereas this one was like a, I don't know what's happening, oh my god, anxiety, as
Yeah.
opposed to, oh my god, this could be real.
But I think that's smart though, because I would imagine had we actually been in an apocalypse at some point, you would feel much the same way. So I think that's a really smart thing that they did, and it proves that they did it well if that was their intention.
Oh, yeah. And it was just the kind of thing where I was like, if this is gonna be this every episode, I can't watch this because it was so realistic and like scary, and like how they had to leave the dad calling Coco and saying we won't make it, but it's just so
And the
devastating.
newscaster on the TV kind of,
Yeah.
talking, cut to static.
That guy was good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was
That
good.
actor, he was good.
Get more work, guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought that first episode definitely drew me in, because I'm like, oh well, I know where the ultimate like end of this is. We're supposed to be showing like Coven and Murder House connecting and everything, so I was really curious how we were going to see that happen
Like, get
after
there.
that first episode. So I'm like, okay, all right, I'll keep watching.
Yeah, it was. I personally enjoyed it, and I had some of that confusion, which I think makes sense, especially since there's a lot of time travel in this episode, going back and forth and filling in the pieces from different angles. But I was a little nervous because it still felt like a horror story, but it felt so different from the other ones this first episode. So I was just interested to see how we would get to Murder House and Coven as well. And it kind of shifts pretty quickly, the feeling. It starts to feel more like an American Horror Story episode.
Yeah. I also felt very claustrophobic. I think like when they started to say all the rules, and you have to wear this color, and you can't have sex, and you can only eat, and I was like, that makes me feel panic. Because I thought, oh my gosh, this is a cult or something. I didn't know, but
Yeah, I thought it was going to connect to Cult more.
it seemed like it kind of was going to. And how like you just survived this terrible thing, but like you're all miserable and scared and frightened, and nobody will tell you what's going on. And the Timothy and Emily, who didn't know why they were chosen.
Yeah.
And that was a emotional scene with his parents, how the dad's like, take my other son too. And gosh, so emotional. It was so good. I mean, it was very realistic. And the plane, and everybody was trying to steal the plane and get on the plane, and the pilot was shooting people. Lord.
Yeah.
I can't.
Did the pilot make it into the bunker?
No.
No.
Pilot died.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then nobody was flying the plane.
Right.
It was flying itself. 'Cause she went to go talk to the people, and it was empty. And
Oh,
the
that's
plane
right.
got hit by something. We never saw the resolution of that. It just, all of a sudden, then they cut to they were there. But
Yeah, they
Yeah.
survived. That's as much as we know.
yeah.
So, what are your impressions to some of these new characters we're kind of trapped with? A lot of them are actors that we've seen before. I know personally for me in this one, I kind of felt like they're all going to survive because these are our main cast, at least for a couple episodes. But some of them don't because they all get to play 1,000 characters in the season.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I usually don't mind when they do play multiple characters. For some reason, the only one that really bothered me
let me
this
guess.
time,
Can I guess?
you can guess.
Evan Peters.
No, it was Sarah Paulson.
I was going to guess Sarah
I was going to say
It
Sarah
really
Paulson. That
bothered
bothered me
me.
so much.
I felt like her being, what's her name?
Venerable?
Yeah,
Venerable?
was
Venerable.
completely unnecessary.
Well, and she was Billie Dean. And she was
right,
Cordelia.
and she's going to be Billie Dean Shore and then be Cordelia
They all
Shore.
looked kind
Especially-
of alike.
Right.
Well,
I got really
Billie
confused.
Dean and Cordelia?
Yeah.
They're probably the characters are the most similar,
Yeah.
at least appearance. So
Yeah.
it's harder to keep-
She was those two like originally
Mhm.
before, so that's okay. So for her to be this other character felt just weird
And it
to me.
It got really confusing because
get confusing.
because when they're in the bunker and everything, they're supposed to have like this other look. So then it was almost like, well, are you Cordelia but like dressed up like this? It was very confusing.
Yeah.
I would agree that that's like the main one that really bothered me when they were
And
kind
a
of
lot
like
of
jumping.
times it doesn't bother me.
No.
Like I don't mind. And Evan Peters was okay, I guess. It didn't
Yeah.
seem to bother me.
He just played so many different ones that I was like,
He wasn't a lot this time.
He resurrected a lot of his bit parts from the previous
Yeah.
season.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that could be because he's at least taking a break next season
Yes.
and then done.
Yeah.
Well, he'll probably be back for the last season. I can see that.
Yeah, he's
Jessica
definitely-
Lange said she was done, and oops.
And guess who got
Spoiler.
nominated for an Emmy for it?
Yeah.
For this?
Yeah, she sure did.
Well, jeez.
Yeah.
As a guest
Oh, that is a
actor.
different
Yeah.
category.
Yeah, well, good. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with it. I'm
I
just
thought
surprised.
she
but
was good this season.
I would have thought Joan Collins would be nominated, but no.
Yeah.
She was okay. I mean, I enjoy Joan Collins. She's a national treasure.
Yeah.
But they're, yeah. Well, amongst other things.
No,
Nick-
just that.
Just
I'm just saying. But the character on American Horror Story was really just an extension of her kind of reputation persona. It's like an exaggerated version of Joan Collins.
Oh, I just
Yeah.
loved the movie within the show where she was the Merry Christmas
Oh
and
my-
she
that
killed
was
her
cool.
husband
Oh, yes.
as Bubbles McGee. I thought that was very funny.
I did like
Also, that's my new stage name, Bubbles McGee.
Bubbles sounds good.
Bubbles. You got it. Bubbles.
I agree with this sentiment that I did not love Sarah Paulson as Venable because she was so prominent. I think if she had not quite so much omnipresence in those first few episodes, I probably wouldn't have been as annoyed. I wasn't confused. I knew that's what they were doing. But at the same time, it was just like, oh my gosh, okay, you can't find any other actor in
Yeah.
any other place
Find
to
a new
play
one.
this.
Why does it have to be Sarah Paulson?
Right. And I love Sarah Paulson. I mean, she's the through line for all the seasons. I think she's a great actress, but
Yeah.
I was kind of annoyed that she was this character.
I agree too. I feel like it was. We're not going to do that much with Sarah Paulson's characters until a couple later episodes, so we need something for her to do at the beginning.
Yeah.
Must have been in her contract.
Yeah, like that she needed to be in every episode or something. I don't know, but
yeah.
but it's a lot, and
It is a
her
lot.
and Evan Peters have the most characters,
Yeah.
and that gets confusing when you start throwing them all together.
Yeah.
But I think you're right that Evan looks pretty different in every
They
part.
do
He
a good
does.
job with doing
And
that.
which is
Yeah.
funny because I feel like there's more potential to make her look different. But I think the problem is that in season 1 as Billie Dean, that was such a small role.
Yep.
Yeah.
Almost a throwaway.
Right.
I mean, she was just like a day player.
Yeah.
And then I guess they wanted to tie her in, but then after that, all her roles were bigger. So Billie Dean didn't look that distinctive. I mean, they could have given her a red wig and like
That's
a
true, yeah.
you know, crazy outfit, but they didn't think it was going to be what it was, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure they didn't think.
No, I wouldn't have guessed that.
I don't think Ryan Murphy had any idea that it would go this long, and I think his intention was anthology until season 5 or 6,
Yeah.
because I think people really liked when you bring the other characters back.
Yeah.
Well, he'd been talking about this crossover for a while, though. This is
Yeah, I
something
think
he's been
Roanoke
forecasting.
we started suspecting, like, because he started talking about it, so I think we kind of thought that was
Yeah.
going to happen. we haven't mentioned Kathy Bates yet. She's introduced as well.
I just always love Kathy Bates. She's always been one of my favorite actresses. I thought this role, I really liked it because I felt like it was very different from everything I've ever seen her do
She
before.
was a robot.
Yeah, but she was also like a submissive, like just a very submissive character, and that's like she's always like this powerful leading woman. So it was interesting to see her do like this submissive kind of small, well, not necessarily smaller, but less powerful role.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed that, and I loved her costumes. That's like one of my favorite things about this season was the costumes. The costume designer for the season nailed it every single time. Being a costume designer, I always like appreciate that stuff. So that was definitely, I thought they did a really great job with her.
I have to agree with Emily. It was nice to see Kathy Bates kind of not necessarily sit back a little bit, but just like be along for the ride. But without her character, I still think she was the glue on a lot of what happened on this season. So not did she didn't just have a big role, but she still made a huge impact.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, and Emily was talking about her being more of a submissive character, but it was fun to watch that character compared to still the same character, but pre-robot, because she's kind of take charge in the cult and helping Michael or raise Michael and murdering people. So you kind of get both those dynamics, and her playing that really well.
Fantastic.
Well, she did win Oscars, you know.
Yeah,
Just saying.
it's just still enjoyable to watch.
All right.
Well, because I think of the Stephen King movie. What's
Misery.
that? Misery. I'm like, I can't think of what. Like in that one, she like kind of plays that off at the beginning, and then you like see this crazy. So like think of that. But even her when she was in Coven, she was like definitely more of like a powerhouse. So I think it's really interesting that they like kind of gave her this other role that contrasts a lot of other stuff that she's done.
I think it's fun that they had a lot of the divas come back even for just a minute, Kathy Bates included. I don't have any broad sort of praise over the Meade character. I think she was interesting, but not necessarily my favorite part. She does a good job.
Well, I was also asking about just the new characters because I really enjoyed this season, and as we keep talking about it, they'll talk about what I really like too, but one of the things that I think falls short is some of the characters they introduce kind of like, I don't know, as filler to get to the Coven episodes, or it didn't matter, or for me it wasn't just Sarah Paulson plays a lot of characters, it felt like filler in the beginning, just like Joan Collins, that character contributed little to nothing.
Yeah.
We weren't invested in it.
We weren't invested in the reporter character, either Adina Porter's character.
Yeah.
We didn't get any real sufficient backstory on them. We got a little bit with Gallant and Evie, Joan Collins' character, but it was surface level at best. So you're like, I kind of hope all these people die. I don't want them to be the survivors of the nuclear apocalypse. They're dumb.
I agree, and almost to the detriment of the season. Like, it wasn't really until Murder House and Coven came in.
Well,
Which was what, 6? 5 and 6?
5.
5 that we started to be like, oh.
I would counterpoint. I think the best new introduction is Cody Fern. As
my God.
He was amazing.
He was incredible. Watching.
He's beautiful. He's terrifying.
TJ and I talked
love
about
him.
Every
I did not
episode.
find him beautiful.
We talked. TJ and I talked
He's
about
beautiful in a kind of an androgynous David Bowie way.
Yeah, that's what we talked about. TJ and I talked about that through the whole season. We were like, he's like attractive, but like maybe not. And like we had like it was a huge discussion. But he was fantastic.
I think it's the power makes him attractive.
There's definitely part of that for sure.
I loved him.
I mean,
I thought he was
he's got some power, so that's gonna make him hot.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I don't know if that's it.
Maybe it is for some people.
Too. Although what I really liked about the Antichrist character, or the Michael character, is that he wasn't an Antichrist who was sure of his purpose. They kind of left him as lost for a little while, searching for his mojo, which was a new take on an old classic, because this felt like The Omen.
Yeah, a little
or
bit.
The Omen 3 for a while.
Did they reference it too, or no?
They referenced
Oh, because he was...
did.
That's where he got his idea.
Yeah, exactly.
I knew there was something in there.
Yeah. But then having him kind of, fall off the wayside and question his whole purpose and where is my father, Satan, all that business.
I
thought
also
that was
found
nice.
it to be very Rosemary's Baby.
Well, yeah, Murder
Yeah.
House's whole conceit is basically Rosemary's Baby.
Mhm.
So it's just taking that to the next level, I think, by maturing him.
Yeah, no, I thought he was phenomenal. He did such a great job in playing. I loved when he played his younger self, and you like see that transformation too. He was incredible. I think he was definitely one of the better added characters. But I thought, like when we were saying before, there was a lot of those like little bit roles that were just throwaway, and it was just it got tedious almost. The one that bothered me the most was Timothy and Emily, because you wanted them to be more involved in the whole story, but then they weren't. So it's like, so I've like emotionally invested myself like a little bit, and then you're just gonna like throw them away for a while.
I remember keeping
For a long while.
Yeah.
But we never found out how they got their genetics, who picked them, why they put them there. I know we know at the end that obviously they have this genetics that can produce
Another Antichrist.
but we don't know who tested it, who picked them, who are those guys that went and got them, how did they get to the airport in time. We didn't ever hear that, and I kept waiting.
Yeah.
And then I forgot they existed, and then in the very last scene,
then
I
here
was
they
like,
are again. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
oh,
Who are those people?
I already said that to Nick. I'm like, why do I care about these people? And then I realized.
That's part of that whole, like, the first 4 episodes where it was very confusing. Until
Yeah.
it
Well,
was
and
just
that's
like,
that we don't
why?
even get till the end.
Right.
Yeah.
Really, the first time we get the connection to Murder House is in episode 2 with the Rubber Man. But
Oh, yeah.
was that just
And
Nice.
the song.
and the song?
Yeah.
Oh, that
Which song? Morning
You
After?
belong to me.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that from
Oh, I remembered that.
Me
That's
too.
like- it's almost like Tiptoed Through the Tulips for me, like one of those songs where it's supposed
Strong
to be
association.
Yeah. yeah, yep.
But we never found out why they were playing songs on a loop, and why. I mean, were they just psychologically trying to terrorize the people, or
It's
what?
one of my issues with it, is I think they make you just kind of figure it out on your, or fill in the gaps, because that's not the story they're telling. I think Ryan Murphy was leaning too much into it's apocalypse, and then he set it up really well, like we're going to explore all these things, and really what we explore is how we can prevent the apocalypse with the witches coming in that battle. But I think it just left a lot of loose ends.
Yeah,
he
there were-
spent too much time in the bunker, I think.
Yeah,
Or
there,
out.
For it to not
I
be
agree.
about the bunker.
Yeah.
yeah, there were a lot of like little things like the music and like having everybody dress a certain way that were set up and I thought were going to be explained, and then they just weren't.
Yeah.
There were a lot of little things like that kind of bothered
Well,
me.
and you get the cooperative, and then you find out that Venerable, am I saying that right? Venable is doing her own thing with it, and then you have Michael come in and he's undoing what she's doing and not doing whatever the cooperative's gonna do.
Doing
Like
his
he has his own
thing.
thing,
And some of that
And then
timeline got weird.
and it doesn't even matter because the witches are coming into battle and stuff. So it's like that was weird to me. Also, not to linger too much about the Rubber Man, but we find out that it wasn't Michael, or
I think it was
or
him.
Michael was lying.
I think he was lying to mess with Gallant's head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he
Okay.
was the Rubber Man because Tate was the Rubber
Right.
Man and Tate's his father.
His dad.
Yeah.
It seemed like another loose end to me,
Well,
especially
I
how
don't
much
know.
he yelled
Vivian
at.
said Tate's not his father. She says the evil of the house is his father.
But the evil of the house is an extension of Satan, and Tate was part of the house. So I took that as all like
All one
Well,
thing.
yeah, and I mean, in
Right.
that first season, like, it's very obvious that was what that was.
Yeah.
So, like, I understand, like, yeah, it was the evil of the house, but it was Tate. Like, it was his DNA that created this child.
I mean, they did say that it wasn't, so you can believe that, but they definitely said in this season.
That it was the evil of the house.
She said
Yeah.
that.
Well, but
it
I
was-
think
There could be
okay,
some metaphor
metaphorical
that
stuff.
evil embodied Tate, but it's still
Yeah.
Tate's genetics.
Yeah,
That
it's
it
still
took- maybe it
Tate's
took him
seed.
over.
I disagree with everybody here. I think you're all tripping on balls.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a new way to disagree.
It's a new theme song.
We're gonna start singing
It's
about our
for a new
disagreements now.
segment called Disagree.
Oh, I thought you were
Agree
gonna
to
name it
disagree.
"Tripping on Balls."
Oh, wow.
It was just more lyrics.
That would be a good name.
Yeah.
All right.
I have her over one song, guys.
Over
Over
one
one
song.
for one?
Very
Was
nice.
is that 1.5?
More than one
Yeah, because I
song.
helped my brother once.
Oh, so half. So it was 1.5.
Not even like 1.002.
Wow. 2,000ths of a song.
What's
Okay.
happening?
Everyone dies. Discuss.
Everybody dies.
Oh my god, that's right. I forgot
Everybody
about
died.
that. Like, everybody did die.
So, I will say the one thing that adding all these characters we know, especially its cast members that we know, we're assuming they'll come around. Everyone in the bunker gets poisoned. Venable even dies, which is Sarah Paulson. So it's like, oh, is this not her character she's playing? And then all the witches come in.
Yay!
Yay!
That was a pretty badass entrance, not gonna lie.
So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Hashtag cut.
it's the end of episode 3, but episode 3, for me, was, I really want to keep watching this season. Like,
Yeah.
this is good.
That's when
Obviously,
it kicked it up a notch.
yes, Murder House is more, is 6, but episode 3 is where, okay, even though Mallory was so annoying to me, that I was really upset when they were like, she was a witch too.
That her character annoyed me.
Yeah,
But
I
at
was
least
annoyed
it
with her.
flipped, so her
You were
personality
annoyed-
was different.
You were annoyed with her as the helper. As the...
Would be Supreme. The
I said the wrong name. Coco. Sorry.
Coco.
Sorry.
Oh,
So,
agreed.
so sorry.
Oh, God.
Oh, I was
She-
annoyed by Mallory. I thought Coco was funny. Because there are people like that that are like,
No,
I'm
but I
an
didn't
influencer.
watch- I didn't want to watch
Yeah.
a season about one.
Yeah, she
But-
was funnier and had a better place in Cult. I thought Coco was insufferable.
I
Yeah,
love
at
it.
least for the beginning, I was like, I
Yeah.
really don't like you. I thought she got a little bit better when they like woke her up again, and she's like, oh, like I'm supposed to be part of the
Even
coven,
her
but-
power
do
is
agree.
counting calories.
It's
Which
awesome.
was hilarious.
That is
I
hilarious.
thought that was so funny.
And so worthless, but
It
funny.
was so funny. How many
Well, no,
calories is this?
first she detected if there was gluten in
Yes,
things.
she was
Oh,
a gluten
yeah.
detector.
She was a
She's
human
a-
gluten. But I loved that she was disappointed. I'm a human gluten detector. Like,
Yeah. I think it was perfect that her power ended up being as like useless as it was. Like it was a power,
yeah.
but it was so like just a throwaway thing. I thought that was funny.
I think it was meant to be a comic relief in the,
Sure, yeah.
the seriousness of it. I don't know. I thought she was fine. I don't really have an opinion. I really like Billy Lord.
I did too.
I love her.
I mean,
I don't care for her.
I really.
but she's Princess Leia's daughter, and I'm just gonna like her.
I liked
okay?
her way better.
Is she in Star Trek? Because otherwise I don't really
No,
know.
she's in no Star Wars.
nothing.
Princess Leia is in many Star Wars.
I liked her way better this time than I did in
Cult. Yeah.
I agree.
for sure.
Yeah.
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 And I
She
thought
was way better, and I like her.
her character got stronger though too towards the end of the season. I thought at first it was like, why do we care about her? Like she's just the assistant. She's like getting she's getting the shit end of the stick, but it's not like I'm like I don't really care. But then once we kind of find out what's going on, I thought her character got stronger.
I
Her
liked-
and Michael things.
I liked how I liked how she was like,
"Oh."
why do I have to be a servant here? I have one of the paid tickets. And like,
Yeah.
I liked her perspective on that.
Yeah.
And her weird bun. And
Yeah.
and that moment with
Yeah.
Michael was good.
Yeah, it was.
All right. That's your reactions to them all dying.
That's right. That was the initial question.
We're like, we don't care. Move on.
I still, after watching this whole season, don't have a clear picture of when Dinah, the reporter, was supposed to be good, when was she supposed to be bad. I still didn't realize she was bad. I was so confused by her.
Her character had a big gap, and
Yeah.
it was very little things, and because we're in the show we're in, where people play multiple things, sometimes I wasn't sure.
Like who she even who she was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
And then I was like-
basically also became Marie Laveau's substitute because Angela
Yes.
Bassett's on 911.
Oh yeah.
Right, but she's playing a different character.
She is, but that's basically what that character was meant to fill. So I think it was kind of like Sarah Paulson. They were probably giving her a contract character in that first one without actually bothering to fill in the details.
She did
Yeah.
some gross voodoo on that
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that
And
whole...
then she was the new Oprah.
Yes, that's right. I thought the whole like death scene was interesting because for so long you didn't know like what the point of it was. It was like, why do we care about this? Like, this is so random. Where is this happening in the timeline? I thought we jumped around so much that made it really confusing. I'm like, what's going on? So when it like finally got explained in like what the last episode or second to last episode, it was like, oh, okay, now I get it.
Yep.
I was really excited when Frances Conroy was one of the ones that busted through.
Yes.
Even though it was like, how is she alive? How is she alive? But she's one of my favorite actresses in this show.
And
And
Myrtle's
I do
a
love that
great
character.
character.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Myrtle is probably one of my favorite characters of all time.
Yeah.
Or at least for me, at least of the show. Period. Series, American Horror
Right.
Story series.
Oh, I'll put it that way. Of this series,
Yeah.
she's like my favorite.
Yeah.
Okay, well then episode 4 we get Queenie back.
Oh,
Michael
yeah.
goes around.
Queen!
I'm very happy that she did not actually have permanent death in the hotel, or Roanoke or wherever she was supposed to.
The
have died.
hotel.
She was in the hotel
Yeah.
because she was with Evan Peters.
Mhm.
Right.
I thought
A
that
very different character.
I loved that whole scene. I think that was so. They were like all sitting there playing cards and like just hanging out, and she's like, "Oh, you came to get me? Cool." I thought that was funny.
I really appreciated Cordelia attempt to save her. Like, I think for the audience, at least seeing that, whether she was going to get out or not, I think that was helpful to see. It
Yeah.
also set up how powerful Michael is, and it also, not in a I need to rewatch hotel kind of thing, but shows like this is how important or haunted hotel is.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed all of those things.
And reinforces some of the recurring themes of the series, which is there are clearly these places where you're trapped, and it confuses Sarah because they can't leave, and they're part of the story.
Well, once they're dead, I get that gimmick.
Yeah, I think she meant
I
that
just meant when
family
they're
member
alive.
did.
Oh, before they die.
Yeah.
Why don't they get the hell out of there?
Right.
Oh,
Got
Well,
it.
and yeah, I'm just like I know.
Caught up.
Nick kept saying, "Well, they have all their money sunk into this house. I will go live in a cardboard box if I think a rubber man's gonna come and get all up in me. I do not want that.
Yeah.
I do not need that in my life." And it didn't
agree.
end well, right?
No, it did not.
Yeah. No.
That's true.
It ended
You're
in
right.
the
There
Antichrist.
was
I'm lying.
and an apocalypse.
Yeah.
Amazing.
All around.
Yeah.
Problems.
Yeah.
How did everyone feel about the Warlocks and
Loved him. One
I
Broadway
did.
That was
number.
my favorite.
Yes,
that was one of
Billy
my favorite
Porter.
parts of this.
Billy
I love that
Porter.
the Warlocks were there.
B.D. Wong.
Yeah.
Cheyenne Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
Where was
Yeah.
our musical number?
Yeah.
I love the whole Warlocks part so that we could go back in the history. I love how they show the history of where the bunker actually originated from.
Yeah. No, I agree with Sarah.
I
We
wanted a
needed
tap number or
Yeah.
something.
I love Billy Porter so much.
I
thought
loved
he
him.
was fantastic.
I just want to let you guys
Cheyenne
know that if I
Jackson.
become a Warlock, that Billy Porter is who I would become. I just
Yeah,
want to let you
I
know
can see
that.
that.
I can
Just in
see
case
that.
you were wondering.
Yeah.
that works for me.
Makes
Yep.
sense to me.
I approve.
I love that whole character in the show. I thought my favorite was when him and Emma Roberts went back to the murder house. I loved
Oh,
that.
are we
I love
there?
that
Because
too.
we're
We're
talking
almost
about that.
we're not there yet.
Almost
Okay.
there, but it was
We're
just
so
like
close.
we're talking about Billy Porter, so we'll get back to that. But I love Billy Porter.
I
love
love them
Cheyenne
all.
Jackson. Yeah, I thought
Thought it
Cheyenne
was great.
Jackson was great. B.D. Wong is fantastic. Yeah, I love
Dee
the
Wong's gotten
Warlocks.
really good at playing like villains.
Yeah.
Jurassic World, I'm sure he'll be
Oh,
really
yeah.
good for that character.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's memorable. I enjoyed the Warlocks. My one complaint about the Warlocks is that I felt like this is something I really wish we had learned about a little bit more in Coven, so that when they appeared and you got this rivalry going on.
Yeah.
Because the rivalry seemed very substantial and was the whole basis around why they were propping Michael up as their supreme. And I remember there were, vague mention of male witches. And
Well, there was one on their board of 3. Cordelia gets an eye from one of each of them.
Right, on the Witches' Council.
Yes, so there was
Yes.
a male witch don't know if they called him a warlock. there,
That's
but-
what I'm saying.
yeah.
I feel like they didn't do, like, this was a whole brand new concept that we quickly had to come on board with, even though I love all the actors I love B.D. Wong, come on. He's awesome. Yeah, he was one of the redeeming characters on Gotham, I would say, as Dr. Hugo Strange or whatever, but anyway,
All
that's
over
the
the
Gotham
place.
podcast. But still, it's just, that was my one complaint. Like, I wish we'd have had more backstory on them so that when Michael showed
And
up.
They could have done that and spent less time with some of the stupid fillers that they did.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
you mean in this season?
In this season,
Yeah.
I
Or
thought you
go
meant you wished in Coven they would have.
or anywhere.
Well, yeah.
Anywhere
But
in
they
the
could
seasons
have.
up
There was
to that
plenty of
point.
opportunity to do that, and instead they
Focused on
made
the
Sarah
bunker.
Paulson be a stupid character. Like, it was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Or established
They could've.
that they were the humanity's last hope.
I would have liked that. That would have been nice.
When all they really
Ryan
needed
Murphy.
to show was the building.
Hashtag. Yeah.
That's really what it was all about. They were in the building that the Warlocks were headquartered in. So
Yeah.
that was my rant.
Strong feelings.
Sometimes I have them.
Mhm. Before we get to Murder House, there's one more episode, and we don't have to dwell on it, but Michael saves Misty in there, and
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, I love Misty.
I hated how
Yeah.
Misty's story ended, and I'm really glad that she got saved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Redemption and more Stevie Nicks. All right.
That was
Yeah.
nice and tricky.
Yay.
of him. Nice and tricky.
Tricky.
He's gonna be nice to pull a fast one on him. That's what happened. That's why I do that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And we get Stevie Nicks again.
Yeah, that was great. And she
Uh,
sang more songs, and it was very cool. I liked it.
We also got, what's his name, voodoo guy,
Papa Legba.
Papa Legba.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Papa
I enjoy
Legba.
that actor, I enjoy that character.
He was on Lost.
He was on Fringe as
Brought
well.
Nan with him. We like Jamie Brewer.
Oh,
We like
yeah,
Jamie
I do
Brewer, but
love
we
Jamie
don't like
Brewer.
Nan.
I don't know. She
Oh.
kind of redeemed herself at the very end.
Like the very end. What a
Yeah.
stinker.
You don't like Nan? I love Nan.
I
I,
like
thought
Nan.
she was funny.
She's
funny.
always funny,
cute.
but she didn't start off being quite such a stinker. Now apparently she's embraced her stinkerness
Yeah.
with Papa Legba.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an interesting relationship.
To be sure.
This is, I think, what we were all waiting for, especially Kylie, because she's dancing.
Yeah!
Yay!
Episode 6, best episode of the season. Why? Because A, it's all back in Murder House, and guess who's in Murder House? Jessica Lange.
Jessica Lange. She's my favorite.
Again.
And they brought back Dylan McDermott, they brought back Connie Britton, and you got to see Thaisa Farmiga play Violet again.
Which
and
she
Alvin
looked really
the same.
the same.
Yeah.
It was a little creepy.
They
It was
use,
like she
did
has
they use
that age.
technology?
I don't know, but I know that
No.
technology is getting better, that they could do...
It was a little
They
creepy.
would have. I think if they had, they would have used it on Evan Peters though too, but they didn't.
Yeah,
He
it's
looked.
true.
He looked older. So
I
he
just
looked
think
older.
she doesn't age right now. She's kind of
No.
probably immortal or something.
Yeah.
Maybe a vampire, who knows?
I mean,
I mean,
she's
she's
kind
also
of
really young.
She is
Think
young.
about how we look. Not Emily. Everyone else think about how we looked in our 20s. We didn't change as much. I
That's
feel like.
true.
That's true.
Yeah.
Now it's all down.
I loved them going to that house,
So did
especially
I.
that it was Billy Porter and Emma Roberts. Was,
Oh my
it
God.
was,
That was
it
a
was-
it was,
great
It was
pair.
I love the
hilarious.
It couldn't have been, in my opinion, more perfect for
Yeah.
the two of them to go.
Yeah.
I love how they sent the two queens.
Exactly.
Oh my
Essentially.
god. That was so. Oh, I love Billy Porter, but I loved his character.
Yeah.
Yes.
That whole episode was just amazing. And
Yeah.
you got a lot of answers filled in. Now, some questions came back later, but you had a lot of answers filled in
Yeah.
after the murder house. Because we were left after a murder house going, what happened to these people? And, you know,
Yeah.
what happens to the ghosts after a long time? Do they interact with each other? And is Michael the Antichrist?
Yes.
Is the
The
baby
answer
the
is yes.
Antichrist? Yeah, that one was obvious. Stuff like that. So you got to revisit a lot, and then, I mean, Jessica Lange is such a powerhouse on this show for the first 4 seasons anyway, but Constance was such a great character.
Hashtag Emmy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do it.
Did anybody else get nervous when they were even just like walking into the house? I was like, please don't go in there. So evil. I know you're witches, but come on, just go somewhere else.
They had to go
I was
there.
excited.
I know, but I was scared.
I wasn't scared. I was excited. I was like,
Yeah.
the murder house.
Well, I loved that they got there on the. Weren't they taking the tour?
Yes, they were.
I thought that was so funny that they show up there and like, oh, okay, we're just gonna get off here. I'm like, oh, okay.
I'm walking out.
I thought that was so funny.
There was a lot of cool Easter eggs that they brought back.
They brought back a lot of characters. They
Yeah.
brought- they brought
And from
Dahlia.
Coven when they were in the school, the witches'
Yeah.
school.
For sure.
Although I kind of miss Dennis
That's
O'Hare.
I was waiting to see
That
if
was-
anyone else was going to say it. I missed his character from Coven. I missed his character from Murder House. They visit a hotel and he's not there.
Yeah.
Like, he has some pretty good, strong characters that we revisit those seasons and we don't see or they don't mention, like, where he would be or why he isn't
Was
involved.
there a reason for that?
He was probably just busy.
Needed a
Just
break,
busy.
probably.
I'm looking it up. Let's see where it's
Emily's doing his
Okay.
research.
Oh, I'm on IMDb right now.
Well, he wasn't in Cult. Was he in Roanoke?
Oh. Is it?
Was
Maybe
he?
Hotel was his last one.
I think Hotel
Oh,
was his
he's
last
in
season.
Big Little Lies.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of
That's
a
a
thing
good
that's happening.
gig.
Yeah.
That's a good
Okay.
gig. I'm looking.
That's a good gig.
It is a good gig.
And I
So
kind of
he's
forgot
got a
that
good
was
cast.
He was in
have you watched
Murder
it?
House.
It's incredible.
Is it?
Yeah.
what I
Okay.
heard.
He was in
It's
Murder
incredible.
House, Coven, Freak Show,
Hotel.
Hotel, and Roanoke.
Roanoke.
Who
Yeah,
was
he
he
was
in
in
Roanoke?
He
it was
was a character.
Yeah.
Oh, he was
Dr. Elias
The
Cunningham.
one on the TV. The one on the TV in the basement.
Oh yeah. In the video.
Who owned the house before?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
But that was it wasn't very much. He didn't
No,
do
it was
that.
bit. It was
No,
very
which,
bit.
like, one of the reasons I think they got
You're right.
Jessica Lange back and Connie Britton, maybe some other ones this helped, but it was just one episode, so they didn't have to commit to a full season.
Yeah.
So it would have been nice if he could have done something for,
Yeah. I
especially.
don't know. Isn't Meryl Streep in that other show though?
Big Little yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing.
I know.
Kind of a big, kind of
It's
big
like-
deal.
That's
Jessica
kind of like
Lange, Meryl
HBO's
Streep.
too.
It's like, well, what do you do?
You have Kathy Bates and Angela Bassett. Just put them all in there.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
We were missing some things, but still, it was the best episode for sure.
Best episode.
So good.
It was. Are you guys done talking about it? Because there's one aspect of it I love and I have to bring it up.
Yes,
Nick,
go.
Frances Conroy's character, we get that fleshed
Oh,
out.
yeah.
She gets a
Yeah.
happy ending.
That's
it gets
true.
taken
That's
away from us.
Yeah.
Closure.
I forgot about that.
Moira.
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 Yeah.
Anyone on TV named Moira is a great character. I don't know. There's just two.
That's some
Moira
bold
shit.
claims. Oh, I
It's not her last name, it's
Rose. Moira Rose.
That's for the Schitt's Creek podcast, which we already do.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's funny.
We just started watching that.
It's so
I like it.
funny,
It is-
right?
It's very
It's a very good
I
show.
recommend
It's very
it to her.
Mhm.
Anyway, that's for
Yeah, I
American
did
Horror
love-
Story.
I
Okay.
did love that little bit. I thought that was really nice to like see that whole character like just kind of live
Yeah.
her life, and then she was happy.
Yeah, and she ends up in a cemetery out of the murder house.
Yeah. Yep.
Until we turn back time.
If we could turn back time.
That's not what I said.
It sounded like
We were all singing.
yes, it was all going.
Alright, if we're done with the murder house, Mallory is passing the 7 wonders. How do we feel about
Oh, I thought that was cute. I liked the way they did that. I thought that whole little like 1920s vaudevillian like little thing. I thought that was cute.
She's got a cool power.
Yeah, she does.
I mean, traveling through time and business, that's kind of hardcore for
She
witching.
can do all. She can
Yeah.
do everything.
she
yeah.
can do a lot of things.
And that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On top, yeah, she's got cool powers.
She's basically got the Force.
Yeah. Yep. And
What's
I
that?
thought.
Pretty much.
Watch a Star Wars and you'll know.
Yeah.
I like Billy Lord. I like watching her.
Yeah,
I think she's
she's
kind of charismatic and
Mhm.
really easy
There's,
to watch.
it is. It's
Yeah.
there's something about her which I feel like was the same with her mother.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
something about her that makes me.
I
like
prefer her grandmother.
Well, also, there is that.
I will just
Yeah.
say.
Who's your grandmother?
Debbie
Carrie Fisher.
Reynolds.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Carrie
that's
Fisher's
right.
her mom,
Yeah,
Debbie
yeah.
Reynolds.
Yeah.
She doesn't. I didn't mind her in Cult.
I think she's.
Well, I didn't. I thought she was a terrible, weird human, but
yeah. She was
Most of
better.
the people in that one.
well acted. I didn't care for this as much because I just think I don't know.
think she's just all right? That's okay.
I can't. I haven't seen her in enough things to say. I just didn't find this character that she kind of just annoyed me.
I preferred her in this season over Colt.
She's was kind of vanilla to me.
Me too.
I think she got better as the season went on this season, too.
I think she will continue to get better the more that she does.
Yeah. She's
is
kind of
green.
become one of their
She's a
new
little green.
players. She's going to be in 1984 too.
so sweet that season.
Oh, sorry, I forecasted.
I know.
Sorry.
You're traveling in the future by mentioning the past.
Going back to the future.
Wrong year. So, I kind of, was intrigued by this season, and then Coven's making it get good, and then Murder House, it's amazing. And then we get Mutt and Jeff, and they're doing blow, and they're making it fake robot.
You're so funny, babe.
It was
What I didn't
the
like,
look on your face was priceless.
I just found
They're
it.
doing blow. It's true, it's weird, and I didn't really get it, and it's
It was too much for me. It
weird.
was too different for me
It
from
was
the
weird.
rest of the season and the rest of the
Yeah.
show.
Well, I thought of all the ways they could bring back Billy Eichner.
But he was already. He's two characters in the season.
Yeah, because he was already there.
Oh, right. I
You're
forgot.
right.
And we didn't talk about him being like, he doesn't make it to the bunker, but he does survive, and then he does make it as the radioactive murder person. He's the one who kills Coco. She doesn't eat the poison apple.
That's true.
I
Yeah.
get their purpose,
We
but it
spent
was
a lot of time on him.
too much time, and it was
So
weird.
much time.
Yeah.
I
didn't
think
like
they
that.
needed
I don't
an
like it.
excuse to bring Venable's backstory in there, because isn't she working for them?
She is
does,
working
but
for them.
it's-
She
Yeah.
is almost
Yeah.
so different at that point that it's almost a different character.
It's so
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah.
I think that was their rationale, but they didn't realize we hated Venable and didn't care about her. So we weren't invested in
Pretty
them
much.
at
That's
all.
exactly how I felt when
Right,
I saw her.
It
Yeah.
also didn't feel like a
I don't care
horror
about you.
anything.
No,
No.
it was just like.
That was just
okay.
so much cocaine. Jeez.
So much
Evan
blow.
Peters, yeah.
It was almost like a stoner horror comedy.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah, it didn't fit.
Like a scary movie. It was like a scary movie.
Their bold
Yeah.
cuts bothered me.
100% agree with
Yeah.
you. 100%.
Yeah, the season started to lose me a little there, and I think that's probably why I landed with it's not my favorite.
But here's what's weird. They had all promised themselves to Satan, and we saw the Satan church and all that.
Yep.
Now, I do want to mention the Satan Church because the priestess is Sandra Bernhard.
Yes, and the lady,
Leave
the
it.
mysterious lady
Yeah.
is Eve 6 from X-Files.
Mhm.
What? Get the heck out!
We will not.
Live here!
I was very
did not
excited
know
when I
that.
saw her.
Yeah. The lady that
Wow.
took him into her house and was feeding him dinner.
Oh, right. Oh,
Yeah.
right. I forgot she was Eve 6 because she's also BB on Frasier.
She is. She's also E4.
She's all the Eves. Oh,
Yeah,
right, you're right. No, I did know that.
Yeah.
I didn't make the X-Files connection, though. I kept thinking, man, that's BB.
Nick made that connection very quickly. I give him credit. Yeah, she did. I mean, she was great. Sandra Bernhard was great. All those actors were great because there were other actors in there from
Can't
before,
remember.
Yes, there were.
and I can't remember
Amongst
either.
the Satan worshippers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
like
remember.
people we know. I can Google it back up if you want, but I just was like, okay, then they get whatever they want. She said Brad Pitt comes and has sex with her or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Except
Ryan
on
Reynolds.
Tuesdays, yeah, I think
Yeah, it was
it's
like
Ryan
Ryan
Reynolds.
Reynolds and Brad
They
Pitt
each
or
have a day
something.
that they don't get him or something. Or
Yeah.
they each only get him one day. I don't know.
Yeah. Now, Brad Pitt I can see, but Ryan Reynolds is just putting stuff on, okay?
Just putting stuff on?
Yeah, why would he
Ryan
be
Reynolds.
Satan's Ryan Reynolds? Why would he be Satan's
I don't know.
something or
I
other?
hope not, because I love Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, me too. That's all I'm saying.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe it was a punishment to them because they didn't join him, so they had to go have sex. I don't
No,
know.
I think it was supposed to be a reward.
I would have taken it as a reward.
No, a punishment for Ryan.
Oh.
Yeah, but that's
He
what
had-
Kylie, I think, was saying. Why would he?
Why would they punish him?
I
He
don't
was
know.
Deadpool. That's national treasure.
Maybe because he wouldn't join their Satan cult.
That's all I got. So what did you want to know about that? I forgot the question.
I know. I
We were
forgot
just
what-
talking about
that. Oh, okay.
yeah
That
that
stuff.
episode, and
We did a good job.
yeah, I think we covered it.
Yeah.
We did mention Mallory's time travel power, but she does specifically travel back in time to save Anastasia.
The witch.
Yeah, Anastasia from Russia the musical.
Russia the
Anastasia,
musical.
Yeah.
Who was a
I
witch.
forgot about that.
And
That
she
was-
fails.
That was very upsetting.
But she was a witch?
No, that whole scene was very upsetting
Oh.
to me because I know the history behind it and how
Yeah.
all those people and all their servants,
Yeah.
everybody that was brutally like bayoneted and shot. I was like, oh god.
And she went back and she watched it and she tried to save her and she failed.
Well, it's hard
So
doing that
that's
stuff.
it is her doing that stuff. That was sad.
Yeah, what's that?
I know.
I
What
thought
I-
that was an interesting touch.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Use that particular family.
And what I like
Yeah.
about that power is that she really needs, like, Cordelia is getting weaker, but her and Myrtle,
That's Frances Conroy.
they need her help. She's helping her. That like it's not just Mallory's coming and taking over.
Yeah.
It's something that they have to work at together. Which
What
I
what
enjoy.
episode are we at? What number?
9.
We're,
Episode
we're,
9.
we're on 9. Is this the one where he kills Madison? Where he kills Emma Roberts? Is that this episode? Where her head explodes, or is that the last episode?
I think that's the last episode.
I'm pretty sure that's the last episode.
That was. I
It-
don't
it
know
might be the
why it was
last
so
one, but-
memorable, but it was.
Well,
just
her
like,
head
yeah.
I was like,
Explode her
whoa, whoa!
There's a lot of.
And all he
deaths
did
in
was
this.
a wave of his hand.
Madison is kind of
And then
a
it-
punk.
I don't mind Madison, honestly.
I enjoy her.
I
I
thought
think
she
she
was
did
funny.
a nice job redeeming herself.
She
I liked
her like saving story was my favorite when they had to like her personal hell was
I
like
love
being in
her
the
house.
I know, that was
in
funny.
the, in the
hilarious.
department store.
And nobody, they don't recognize her. They recognize her as someone else.
They
And,
kept
and you know, it clearly was Cole's.
Yeah, oh my god, that was so funny.
No,
that was by
that
far.
was Bed Bath and Beyond.
You think so? I thought Bed Bath & Beyond is more packed, whereas Kohl's has more of that kind of fake, generic display
I thought it
quality.
was Walmart because she was wearing a blue apron, but
I don't know. Either way, it was hilarious.
they're all my personal hell. I don't want to be a customer service person there.
Yeah.
People are brutal.
Right.
Get to Kohl's on Black Friday, woo!
Or
Yeah,
any
no.
day.
Don't
I
they
don't like
also
going
make
to
the
Kohl's.
joke to save her? Like they wait to save her. She can stay a little longer.
Yeah, she can stay there for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this season does give that character more of an arc.
I did
Yeah.
like her in this one. I liked her better even than in Coven. I just remember her head exploding. It's because I just
Yeah.
watched it.
Her head
I
did
enjoy her in
explode.
both roles. I think this is Emma Roberts' best character for the series.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What other than Freak Show? What else does she have? Is that it?
She's in.
Because Freak Show was.
She
not
plays
a-
a news reporter in.
In Cult,
Yeah.
she was that annoying news
Yeah,
reporter.
she
Oh,
She got
yeah.
killed
She
really
died.
quickly.
Oh yeah. Then I agree. Who remembers how Angela Bassett comes back? There's some sort of deal.
Yeah, because Dinah's
Dinah.
evil, and so they make a deal with Papa Legba to swap out her for Marie.
For Marie.
That's
LeBlanc.
right.
Yeah, because her heart isn't really in torturing, and he has to like keep telling her to do it. Whereas Dinah's mean anyway.
Dinah, I don't think that's her name at that point, but she perverts the art of voodoo because she's basically saying whatever, I'm just gonna get paid.
Yeah.
It's definitely Dinah Stevens.
She's still Dinah there?
Yeah.
That's the only character she plays this season.
I didn't realize the reporter became voodoo or
She
was
was
voodoo
all
when-
along, and that's why it was so confusing. And then she was in
Yeah.
the bunker, and that guy's her
Oh,
son,
yeah,
and it was like,
that's right.
where
She
is this
does
going?
say, "I'm not part of this," la 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 la, even
Yeah.
though she was awake. I remember that.
And she was Toad's part of it.
true.
No.
So we get
Oh, I know.
Angela Bassett back to join the fight against Michael, and that's when I think the head
Pretty
explodes.
brief,
and
yes. She wasn't around for much.
No, she's on the
mean,
show.
we're talking
She's on
2
911.
minutes, maybe.
She's busy. She's a
Since
lead
she
on
dies right away.
911.
Another
Yep.
Ryan Murphy show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he keeps poaching his cast for his other things.
But then he can throw him back for a little bit
For
here.
a 2 minute thing.
I still like seeing it.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice to have her back for that 2 minutes.
I was happy to see that they managed to get back most of the major players from the first handful of seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the person I was
I
trying to
agree.
think of was Naomi Grossman, who played Pepper. She was one of the
Oh,
Satan.
yeah.
She
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, at least she looks so familiar. And then I looked it up and I was like, oh, it's Pepper.
Who was hanging out with Anton LaVey when he would show up to swoop in.
Right.
Yeah.
I say that in quotation marks because the real family of Anton LaVey and the Church of Satanists hate this stuff because that's not really what they do.
Yeah.
And so they were like, peels.
So that takes us to the end of the season. Is there any like major plot points or things that we've missed that you wanted to bring up?
Did you guys like how it
I
ended?
remember.
So it ends with Timothy and Emily end up meeting randomly on the street.
Is
Like
it
they were
random?
destined to meet all along, and
To
then they
make
get
another-
married, and
Yeah.
they do it, and then they have a baby. And one day they're on a date, and they come home, and the baby has killed the nanny.
sitter,
Uh-huh.
nanny, yeah.
So
And he's just
basically,
sitting there, just like what's his face was.
yeah, murder house
Michael.
redux without the house.
Yes. So we're getting the Antichrist, whether it's going to be Michael exactly like he was, but it is later.
Or Devin is their baby.
The Omen 4.
The Omen 4.
Was there 4 omens? I don't even know.
So, like, the apocalypse is going to happen anyway.
Right.
But it didn't
Yeah.
happen yet, right? It was hard for me to keep track
Right,
of the
that was
time.
my
Coven averted the apocalypse.
From Michael.
Yeah.
From Michael.
From that
And
Michael.
now there is a
The new one is
No.
Devin.
Devin.
Sarah just
I
said
know,
that.
but is he going to grow up and look exactly the same?
We don't know.
No, because he had dark hair.
Okay.
No, he's
It
a
is
different person, but
Yeah.
he's still an antichrist.
he's
Yeah.
a different person, Nick.
But he's
He's
the
not
Antichrist.
Michael, but
He's
he's,
not
another.
Michael.
He's another
Look,
one. They
Satan
just made
can
another
have
one.
multiple kids.
So he just made a new one
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he made
after
a-
Mallory
But-
killed the other one.
Did he, or did Timothy and Emily make the baby?
But they don't know.
I think it's their genetic material
Yeah.
and his dark soul. This is
Yeah.
standard Antichrist troping.
But that's what I'm just saying, is that, like, that brings that back around. But, boy, they really made us work for that.
They sure did.
Well, and they obviously
They really made it.
yeah, they obviously seeded because Ryan Murphy has actually gone into the media and said we're going to bring back the Coven again. The Coven is the most popular cast of all the casts, minus Jessica Lange whenever she appears. He's already talked about bringing the Coven back, and I would have no doubt that Apocalypse Redux, Murder House Redux, Antichrist II could be the seed for the next Coven resurgence.
Did he say? I feel like there's at least 2 more seasons, but is there only 2 more seasons?
That are currently renewed. That
Oh,
doesn't
okay.
mean that FX doesn't have intentions to go beyond, but they did give them orders for 9 and 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and we know 1984 is the next season, season 9.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Did anyone have any other strong feelings about the ending before I say, hey, how I feel about it?
I didn't love it. It was, again, one of the reasons why I don't come away from Apocalypse thinking, man, that was some satisfying apocalypting.
I felt like it was a cheap scapegoat to get out.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I felt like they like we've been saying this whole podcast that they branched off on too many ends that like really didn't make any sense, and then they're like, oh crap, we only have 10 episodes. Well, let's cheese our way out of this and just make people happy. I felt like it was really cheesy, and I felt like they could have done something way bigger than they did instead of it ending with them having a baby. You could have did that in episode 1, and I would have been like, bye.
Bye, Felicia.
Right.
What do you think, Nick?
It was annoying to me. I don't know, like, obviously I'm going to keep watching. I don't know that much about 1984, but I'm intrigued by it. But this, with the exception of the ending, felt like it could have easily been the last season of the show because they brought... It's not going to have the same effect bringing Jessica Lange back, a lot of these characters back, all the way from... You usually revisit the first season of a show when you're ending it.
Yeah.
It's culminated into so much, and then the way it was written, they undid a lot of that, like from what the characters know happened. I guess the
So
witches
it's basically doing a supernatural, is what you're saying.
know. I guess. But it just seems so grand that when he does finally end the show, it's gonna
It's
be
gonna be
lackluster.
like, wah, wah.
Like, I think this did a disservice to this series as a
Yeah.
whole.
Do you think that they went in with the intention of this being the last one?
I don't know,
No,
because
they
I remember
knew they
them
were
announcing
renewed.
They
yeah.
knew already.
They already knew.
Boo.
I think this season taught me that I don't like anthologies. I want to see the same characters over and over.
I knew that
Yeah.
in myself as well.
And it doesn't help that it's those actors.
Right.
Yes, they're comforting and talented. But I like when I see the witches, I get a secret thrill.
I
It's not
definitely...
a secret. It's not a secret.
I agree with you. I feel like maybe even in season 2 a little bit, but season 3 of this series, I was already like, are there connections? Are there connections? I always want that. When Star Trek Discovery was announced, it was supposed to be anthology, and like that just felt wrong. I don't know why. Not that there isn't a place for anthologies, but if it's gonna go any distance, I want connection.
Well, here's what I'm going to say are my theories. One, I think they introduced Apocalypse in season 8 because I think Cult was considered largely unsuccessful. It was the least popular season of the 7.
It was the worst.
Yeah, so I think they were trying to inject renewed life into it.
Did people think it was the worst?
I think generally the internets have
Said
kind
that?
of said that.
I also feel like 5 was probably the worst up to that point too.
Agreed.
5 is Hotel.
Yeah.
Correct.
You like that better than Roanoke?
Was it Roanoke 6?
Oh, I like
you-
Roanoke better.
I did like
guys
Roanoke.
all
more
like
than
Better than
Roanoke.
yeah, we all
Yeah.
liked it better than you.
But
Was Roanoke 6?
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
Hotel.
So I was
okay.
saying Hotel was the worst
Hotel was
up until
considered the
5.
worst until Cult came around.
And I actually liked Hotel.
Yeah,
I liked
hate
it too.
Hotel.
I mean, I like the show. I had some problems with
I
Hotel.
didn't mind
like,
Hotel, but I couldn't stand Cult.
Call it. Yeah, see, there you go.
So I think that's why they did Apocalypse Now, and I also think
Apocalypse
Now.
Now.
not the movie Apocalypse, comma now.
Currently.
Currently.
And episode
Yes.
10 is Apocalypse Then.
Yeah. No.
It
It
is.
is.
It
That's the
That's what
name
it's
of
called.
it. I'm not.
Apocalypse Then.
Just giving you facts.
What did you just say?
Episode 10 is called Apocalypse Then.
Oh
I
yeah.
thought you said season 10.
I did too. I
don't
was
think I did, but no.
confused. Okay, but anyways. So that, but I also think that when they do come back around and kind of are wrapping up the series, I think what we're going to get is probably a major blowout that explores what the connections finally are. I think that's going to be our grand finale.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, and bringing Coven back, even though we kind of shot the pizzazz of it with this season, still gives me hope because I do enjoy those characters. I mean, we lose Myrtle. I forget what, I want to say it's Stevie Nicks' character, but the character who loves Stevie Nicks.
Misty.
Misty.
What was she doing?
Misty.
She just left with Stevie Nicks?
She stayed in the house with the rest
She's
of
in
them.
the school again.
She's in the school.
She just didn't help in the battle.
She went, okay,
Did she?
in the timeline, she went with Stevie Nicks for some healing and rest. Then when everything got undone, Mallory had to go down and get her, and this time she stayed
Okay,
in the
that's
house.
what it
That
was.
thing.
And that's where you get the joke of leaving
Yeah.
what's-her-face down there longer.
I'm guessing Lily Rabe just wasn't
must not have had
available to
time.
be in more.
But
Yeah.
I love Lily Rabe. I would have liked her character from season 1 to be in Murder House more. and
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been nice.
I do love
Yeah,
her.
that
Her
girl-
husband is there for a little bit. He's cutting up the book.
Oh, and it's and the Mina Suvari. What a weird little, I guess, cameo.
Well, she was the Black Dahlia in Murder House.
Yeah, I know, but it's like, hey, can you come in and just lay there for a minute?
She's not working right
Oh, too bad. Oh, I feel bad now.
Hashtag unemployed.
I actually looked at IMDb and I said, "Oh, Mina Suvari." Oh,
I
and
think
it's
she
been
had a bebe
spaces.
though. Maybe she's.
She might have had a kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a long time since American Beauty. It's been 20
true.
years.
Wow.
Yeah.
But they didn't bring her, like, this is the first time we're seeing her since Murder House.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
actress. She hasn't played any other characters.
It wasn't a very big part,
No.
really. Even
No.
it was kind of a.
No, it wasn't.
Playing an unsolved murder victim. So
I feel like we covered everything, so should we rank some stuff or not?
Ah, crap.
Oh, crap.
Every time we
so
get to this,
we'll,
I'm
we'll
like,
explain
I don't
this
know.
for Eddie since it's habit for them, but it's brand new to him.
He'll figure it out.
No. So Eddie, what you have to do is rank all of the seasons, including the current one, Apocalypse, from whatever order you want to go, least favorite to favorite or favorite to least favorite. So we know Coven is your favorite, but then you have to go rank the other ones in like a numerical order place.
Oh, brother.
Yeah, tell me about it, right?
I know. I don't remember where I was at last
I don't
time.
I didn't pull any of that
You can
information.
change your mind,
I know.
Emily. It doesn't matter.
Why
Oh,
is
you're after
Sarah
two
singing
songs.
things?
I like that she's singing things today.
I
She's
don't know
very-
why.
I could probably do it.
Do it!
Do
Hold on, I
it.
gotta find them. Where are they? Help me.
Why can't
I
you
need
look
a
while she
list.
does it?
Seasons. Okay, I'm
I
ready.
helped her.
Okay.
Okay.
So there's 8 seasons, Kylie.
I'm gonna go for it. Number 1, Murder House. Number 2, Coven. Number 3, Roanoke. Number 4, see, it used to be Freak Show, and I'm thinking Apocalypse and Freak Show are kind of even for me. I'd probably give the edge to Apocalypse, actually, just because it has the characters from my first two favorite seasons. Then Freak Show, then Asylum, then Hotel, then Cult.
God, that was impressive.
Yeah,
Thank
I'm
you.
impressed.
Yeah, I have mine.
Go
Go.
for it.
Number 1, Coven. Number 2, Freak Show. Number 3, Murder House. Number 4, Apocalypse. Number 5, Asylum. Number 6, Hotel. Number 7, Cult. Number 8, Roanoke. I would never watch that piece of crap again. I hate it.
Wow.
Never, she said.
That's not true.
Wild.
Nick will probably make me.
Don't make
But
me do
Lady
anything.
Gaga was sketch. Remember how
Yeah.
That was the only redeeming quality to that one.
I
Those
will-
people needed to leave.
I like when Evan Peters does an old-timey character.
I do
I
like that a lot.
So he does that in Hotel and he does that.
And
It's even
Roanoke.
older.
Yeah.
Older-timey?
I really like
Sure,
it.
Yeah.
older and timier.
I did enjoy Cuba Gooding Jr.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
He
I
was
forgot
very
about
good,
that.
and I wish he could come back and do some more
Look,
things.
I thought Roanoke was
OJ.
super scary until episode 10. That's kind of what
Yeah.
didn't help Roanoke, was the last episode.
Yeah.
But I loved that season.
Well, I could be wrong, but those are just my opinions.
Your feelings are valid.
And I think
Yeah.
I've changed that order around a little bit because
I don't
It's just
remember.
Not a ton.
it was always Coven Freak Show, but I don't know that I had Murder House ranked so high before.
I think
So
you have.
maybe this helped it a little bit. But I definitely put this before Asylum, although I like Asylum, so I don't know.
Yeah.
The aliens are a little
All
weird.
right, I think I have mine.
Okay,
I think I can do this.
Do it, Eddie, do
Do
it.
it.
Oh God, I'm gonna go. Number 1, Coven. Number 2, Asylum. Number 3, Apocalypse. Number 4, Murder House. Number 5, Roanoke. 6, Freak Show. 7, Cult. 8.
Hotel.
Oh God, what did I forget?
Hotel.
Oh, yeah, it's Hotel.
You liked Cult better than Hotel?
They're both so bad. I didn't know which way to. The only reason I like Cult is I like the twist that you get with Cult.
But
So the
Lady
only reason why I
Gaga is
liked
a
it.
vampire.
Yeah, Lady Gaga's a vampire.
Yeah.
I felt like that. Again, hashtag potential. Not to bring it up. I felt like Lady Gaga was a waste. I truly did.
I
They
like
I
wasted
felt like
the
they-
character.
There's
I
no
felt like they could've done
poker
more.
face there. Get it?
Poker. It was a bad romance.
It
if you
was.
will.
Nick,
Wow, guys.
did you do it yet?
I have not gone yet. I can if you want.
Yeah, do
I
it.
don't know where to slide Asylum in. Not Asylum. I don't know where to slide Apocalypse in, but I know it's.
That's what he said.
Is it?
Who said
know.
that? The Rubber Man?
Whoa. Whoa. Tried to, and I was like, not today, Satan.
Hashtag off the rails.
Too much.
Off the rails. Urban
Not
Boss.
today, Satan. That also reminds me. Who did you expect, Satan? No one can see the church lady because that's the expression.
My favorite is Murder House. My second favorite is Coven. I really like Asylum. I do. I like
I know
James
you like this.
Cromwell.
I know you do.
I like Bloody Face. It just feels so. It's such a horror movie. I love
Yeah.
it. It's the most terrifying concept for me.
Yeah,
If they had
that,
Well, I mean,
not gone
Apocalypse.
to the aliens, I would have been okay.
I feel
But
that.
that's so towards the end. You can just lop it off.
Just pretend it's
I
there.
what? Where did you
Asylum for me.
compare to Apocalypse? You like
Is
the Apocalypse more?
I liked Apocalypse
Ah,
2
but what about
more than
Mutt,
Asylum.
Mutt and Jeff? They're worse than the aliens.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
And I'm all for aliens. We do the X-Files series.
I know.
Okay.
I also like aliens. I just feel like they didn't use it well in Asylum. And
and then your next favorite is
Asylum, and then Freak Show, Apocalypse, Roanoke, Hotel, Cult.
yeah.
I think I want to put Freak Show above Apocalypse because you brought up Mutt and Jeff and the bunker. So
I know
think
a lot.
I would change it and put Freak Show as 4 and Apocalypse as
Freak
5.
Show is
Apocalypse-
freak.
I
is
love
really
Freak
freaky.
Show.
Oh, I know. I have it pretty
Apocalypse's highs are high. They are good, but
Yeah.
their lows are just.
high. Strange.
I would agree with that. There isn't a lot of like middle ground in Apocalypse.
And there's
Yeah.
there's at least 2 episodes in Apocalypse there that it's like the whole almost the whole episode is like I don't need this at all.
Yeah.
So that's why I
Plus,
Freak Show.
Angela Bassett has 3 boobies, so in Freak Show.
She does.
So
Not to mention
Yeah,
Dennis
Crow?
O'Leary.
Yeah.
Dennis
O'Hare.
O'Hare. O'Hare.
Yeah, Dennis Leary's a
I
different
mean, there's
guy.
something for
Yes.
everyone in that show, I think.
Yeah.
I've traditionally liked Freak Show quite a lot.
Yeah.
I even like the music and
Yeah.
everything.
I thought it was
It's
so
kind of-
strong. I thought up until the very, very end, I was like, this is amazing. It was that very, very end that I was like, well, okay. I didn't like how they ended Freak Show, but everything else was so good.
Yeah.
And it's where we kind of first get the crossovers happening. You
Yeah.
get James Cromwell's character from Asylum and Pepper. Like, that's
And
2
Lily
and 4
Rabe's
star.
character.
Oh, yeah.
I can go. I think I've got it. For me, it's Murder House, Freak Show.
Wow.
I remember that from last time that you did that.
Yeah, I think that's always been my top 2. And then I think I'm gonna go Apocalypse, Asylum, Hotel, Roanoke, Cult. Is that all of them?
No, you did
Oh,
not
Coven.
say Coven.
Oh, Coven. Coven. I
Right.
don't know where Coven is gonna fall because I have to go back and rewatch it.
So right now, you were going through your list and I'm like, you like Apocalypse more than Coven?
Well, because I have to go back and
Okay.
rewatch it.
Yeah,
You like Cult more than Coven?
No.
You put Cult more.
Well, because
Well,
I didn't
she
put
just
Coven
then,
anywhere.
then she
Coven.
forgot Coven, but
I didn't put Coven anywhere.
It really helps when you
Okay.
rewatch it because it is
Yeah.
better the second.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for me, Coven's just gonna like kind of hang out in space.
in Limbo.
Yeah. Coven's in limbo currently.
Season 9, Limbo.
I can't do this.
You can do
Murder House. This is the worst part. Murder House.
It's so hard.
It is so hard. And then I'm gonna go Coven, Murder House, Coven, Freak Show, Apocalypse, Roanoke, Asylum, Hotel Cult. Did I get them all?
You got them all.
Yeah, you did it.
You
You
did
do
it!
That's about the best list I can have right now until I decide to watch them all over again. 'Cause
I know.
It's really fun to watch them all over again.
I started watching Murder House again.
I know I did that. I did that last summer too, where I
I
just
think we did
started
rewatch.
and
Didn't we rewatch
Yeah.
Murder House?
You did, because you watched it with me. I've only watched it once, and we'll never watch it again. I don't think I can do it. Guys, I'm just not good at this. And Kylie has to back me up, because I know you don't really love being scared either. And this is compelling, and it's great television. It's beautifully acted and crafted and great. But once is enough for me. I can't do it.
I'm actually really proud. I'm really proud of you for doing it in the first place.
Yeah.
It was an accident, and now I'm just stuck.
It's like,
You know?
Because
Remember
I know
how
you
Doctor
don't
Who
like
happened
scary
too?
things.
Yes.
I agree with Sarah. I rewatched Murder House because it's my favorite, because it's so well done, because when I moderated it, I needed to refresh myself. But I don't know that I would go through an entire rewatch either. I don't like all of the seasons enough to do that.
I had to rewatch Freak Show because at first I didn't like it, and then when I rewatched it, I liked it, just like Coven.
Oh,
I
there are
liked it
some
better.
rough things in it, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's good.
it's problematic.
Like it was
Yeah.
worth it to rewatch all of them.
It probably, I think it has the best effects, visual effects, and
Freak Show.
makeup and
For
costumes,
sure.
and it's very
Absolutely.
beautifully crafted.
Plus, it put Life on Mars in my head for a good 6
Oh,
weeks.
yeah. And
Great album.
Fiona Apple song.
Criminal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
it's very good.
Is there anything else we've missed out? You want to mention, talk about, speculate on 1984?
I was just reading some
I
stuff
know
about
nothing.
1984.
Absolutely.
This is
nothing about it.
Emily's. This
This
is
is my
Emily's
favorite
corner.
thing.
She
Yeah.
does the thing.
Emily's Corner. Emily's Corner.
That's my little pony.
It sounded a little. Yeah.
Funny.
I was just reading about it because that's what I do when we sit here. I almost never read anything about American Horror Story prior to sitting and recording the podcast. But I was
True
reading.
confession.
Yeah, I was reading while we were sitting here, and people are speculating that 1984 is going to be kind of along the lines of Roanoke, where it's not actually set in 1984, but it's like they're filming a movie or something about like these horror films, or like filming a horror movie set in 1984, whereas like Roanoke was like a documentary. That's what people are speculating currently.
I hope that doesn't happen. I will say that every time they flash back to the 80s in previous seasons, it's 1984.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
is Bloody Face active in 94? Or 84?
I don't remember. I don't remember because that's Asylum and you know how I feel.
Well, because what I was reading is that, and I just watched the clips too, just to like see, and they've got all of like the cast in like their 1980s costumes and everything, but it looks like they're on a set, so people are speculating that means that they're like filming something.
Just
movie
the-
within a
their
show?
set?
Or
I don't know. Well, that was the question. Is this their like the American Horror Story set, or is this like something within the season sort of thing?
Didn't a handful
Well,
of famous horror films come out that year too?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think it was
mean,
when
I've heard
Friday
you
the
say that, but I
13th
don't.
came out for sure. Yeah.
One of the Friday the 13th, but not the
Not the
original.
first
I
one.
don't
No,
think.
no.
Yeah, yeah, not a Halloween. That was
No.
the 70s.
Well, there's so many Halloweens. You don't think one of them came out?
In
I'm
1984?
Googling it.
Oh, Google's will
1980
tell
was
us.
the first Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Hmm.
81. There was one in 1984. The final chapter.
Nightmare on Elm Street, the original Children of the Corn,
Ooh.
Chud. You just,
Gremlins. Yep, Chud. The Toxic
Firestarter?
Avenger.
You guys both said Gremlins like
Firestarter's not horror.
That's what it says. Friday the 13th, the final chapter.
Yeah.
Firestarter's a horror movie.
Rats.
I think so. It's not
I think
scary.
so. It's not scary, but I think it was
The
meant to be horror.
Terminator.
If they hadn't cast a
Terminator
good-
is not
I
a horror
don't
movie.
consider it a horror
Terminator's not horror. Bad list.
This is what Google came up with.
Rats. Did she
Bog.
say rats?
Yeah.
That is a horror.
Dreamscape.
That's
Dennis
not a horror.
Quaid.
I just.
Oh, there's horror aspects. That's
Yeah.
more
That's what
fantasy.
they do. I'm gonna be super duper bummed.
Yeah, so we'll see what actually happens. But that was what people are speculating currently. But that cast is pretty star-studded looking already. Matthew Morrison is returning from the
Glee.
previous Ryan Murphy project, Glee. You've got Emma Roberts, Angelica Ross, who's in Pose right now, Billy Lord, Cody Fern, Zach Villa, John Carroll Lynch. He's awesome. I love him.
Is he twisty?
Yes. He's scary, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he can be real scary.
Yeah, Gus Kenworthy. He's the Olympian. Leslie Grossman. We'll see what happens.
I know you don't.
I don't
think
love
that.
her.
I don't
hope-
think that Nick loves her either.
No.
I don't remember who that is.
She's
Coco.
I think she
Oh.
did a bang up job. I'm sorry. I think her
I
acting
thought
was
she
great.
was. Yeah.
I thought she played a very specific character that is a very specific caricature of something that is very influencers. Like
Yeah.
I
I
like
mean-
the stuff that they gave her in this season.
Yeah.
last season, yeah, she was kind of meh.
She's clearly playing a type. That's
Yeah.
my thing. So if they're gonna give her that type every season, that's gonna wear on me.
Yes.
Like, okay. the
But I
joke is
liked
done.
her. I liked Coco once she was woke.
Normal.
She
But
was
she was
Woke.
woke.
Hashtag woke.
Woke. Yeah.
Like she knew she didn't have good power, but she was still a good person.
Power
Unlike
was
me,
still
look,
my
I don't got a
favorite.
lot, but I'm gonna bring it.
Yeah.
There you go. You go, girl.
So that was what I read while we were sitting here. Was the fan theories speculate?
I hope it's
Speculations.
not a show within the movie
Because
because,
movie within a show.
but I can also
Yeah.
see that being a possible Scream homage as
Yeah.
well because that's basically an homage to the
Emma
genre
Roberts was
itself.
in a Scream?
Was she?
No.
Was she in the fourth one?
Yep.
Because that's the one I've
Yep.
seen once.
She sure was.
Oh, okay, I believe you.
I'm more of an expert on the trilogy.
She was
Yeah.
what's her face's cousin, and then she ended up being the killer. Spoiler.
Why was that
she's
a
the-
thing?
Spoiler alert.
Why is season Scream 4 a thing?
Yeah, it was just not necessary.
Because
Because she
Hollywood
goes back
comes
to her
up with
hometown.
nothing new.
It's
No,
good.
exactly. Everything's
That's yeah.
Because they bring in the digital era to it to
Right.
update it.
Right. With the
It's
kids.
not. It
not
wasn't necessary.
good.
It wasn't great.
No.
It
It's
was,
not
but
as
I
good as the first
like the
three.
Scream one movies, so I'll watch it again someday. My prediction is that it will revolve around a serial killer that might have been active in the 80s. That's my prediction. Jeffrey Dahmer did some killing back then, and the Night Stalker was active in 84.
Did any of our hotel ghost serial killers, were they 1984 contemporary?
That's what I was kind of looking, but
Ramirez, maybe?
was Ramirez
Singing it.
I don't know. I should know this because I'm a murderino, but I don't.
a murderino? Oh, because you listen
Am
to
I
that
one of
podcast.
those too?
I do. Do you listen to My Favorite Murder?
I listen to My Favorite Murder and True Crime Obsessed.
Then yes, you're a murderino.
True Crime Obsessed.
No, that's my favorite murder is Murderinos. I don't know what the other one
If you listen to that podcast and listen to us, tweet.
Yeah,
Tweet
Richard
us.
Ramirez was the
Tweet
Night
at CP
Stalker.
Podcast.
Was he at Hotel?
Yeah.
He killed 14 people
That's a good
between
podcast, if you
1984
like
and 85.
Okay.
murder documentaries. Like
I don't,
do.
but it's kind of
I
not
know.
my
I
thing.
just listen to Serial. speaking of like murder.
Look, Karen and Georgia, if you're listening and you want to do a crossover,
Yeah, we'll totally talk about
hit
it.
us up. Karen and Georgia, they're rubbing out. They're very, very, very famous.
Someday we'll do our podcast within a podcast.
Okay,
I don't
well,
think I have anything else to say about American Horror Story. I did like this season.
Can I just say my fan theory? My fan theory is that it has something to do with the music industry because that was a huge, noteworthy year in music, and we have some good singers that are signed on. So that's my prediction.
What if it's a music video?
It does look
I will
thrillery.
stop watching after episode 1.
there's always good singers in this show, though, so I don't know if that is an
That's
indication.
so true.
I can think what I want.
You can.
Oh my
Sarah's angling for part.
Yeah,
We do
right.
have
I
to
know.
force it.
All I have to say about 1984 is that, of course, I'm going to watch it, but they've got some big shoes to fill after this season, bringing so many back.
So I guess along that note, what my vague prediction is that it'll be a step away from all the crossover and other storyline and be a little
its
bit
own.
more standalone again
Yeah.
That would be nice.
before we bring Coven again. Because
I
I
would
bet
like
as
that.
much as people like Coven, there are people who like the anthology aspect of it too.
I do.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
So that's
I like 'em both.
That's my prediction.
Yeah.
That and the Night Stalker.
That'd be cool.
All right, I don't have anything else. Do you have anything else?
No, I'm good.
Well, with me
No,
saying that,
I'm
means
good.
Kylie's
I'm great.
That means Kylie's gonna what now?
With me saying that means Kylie's gonna say this.
I am going to say this. Thanks, Nick and Sarah and Emily and Callie and Eddie for joining us to talk about American Horror Story Apocalypse. And because we've talked about the apocalypse, it's now time for the end credits. Couch Potatoes Unite! Exclamation point was produced by Back Pocket Productions, run by yours truly, the Chief Couch Potato, which is really another way of saying executively produced by me, Kylie Piette. My associate producers are Krista Pennington and Selene Rezmer. I edit this podcast, and our logo is by Rebecca Wallace. Our marketing graphic artist is Krista. Our theme song was written by Sarah Milbratz and sung by Sarah, Amy McDaniel, and Kelsey Rezmer. Kelsey played the keyboard, Ian McDonough played the bass, Christian Somerville played the guitar, and the whole kit and caboodle was engineered and produced by Kyle Aspinall and Christian. We hail from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Please, if you like what you hear, take the time to rate us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, or Google Play, or wherever you find your podcasts. Give us stars, give us comments, give us reviews. Let us know how we're doing. Send us a message. We might just read it on the podcast. Tell us what you like, what you don't like, what we should keep, what we should toss. You know how it goes. And if you have suggestions on shows we might consider, contact us at our website, couchpotatoesunite.wordpress.com, where we have a guest book, by email at couchpotatoesunitepodcast@gmail.com, or via our social media, Facebook, Twitter at CPU Podcast, and Instagram at Couch Potatoes Unite. Though, of course, we add new and old shows to chat about around the water cooler all the time. We always have several more new episodes coming down the pike. Just listen to our intros. And if you miss old episodes or want to know in general what we cover, just find us. We are everywhere and searchable wherever you look for things on the internet. You can search for us, or you can subscribe on our website, our channels, our social media accounts. Stay up on our new events and episodes. Until the next time, American Horror Story is available to stream on Netflix through the 7th season only, as Fox releases the latest season to the service quite late for catching up purposes. Usually comes out after the new season premieres, so I wish you luck in finding Apocalypse for now, if you have not already watched it. In the meantime, our American Horror Story series panel will next reconvene to discuss Season 9, announced earlier this summer to be subtitled 1984, as we've discussed, and after it concludes airing, most likely in 2020. So until next time, until next episode, new episodes are published every Wednesday. Keep listening, keep watching, stay tuned